All right, guys, hopefully it won't be too long till we can see everybody in person. I know light's at the end of the tunnel, and it was great to get out there and do a spring practice. We've got a very hungry football team, and I think we've got good depth on our football team as well. We were able to double rep today, and we have not been able to do that for a long time, and that just allows our younger players to get more exposure. We integrated elements of our offense and defense and special teams today, so we had a full complement of everything. And typically, yesterday I was walking around, I thought I was in Tucson, Arizona, and today I recognized I was back in Laramie, Wyoming when we had snow in the middle of spring ball. So it's good to be back here. It's great to see you guys again. So I'll open it up to questions. Yes, go ahead, Michael.
Hey, Craig, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Got you.
I think the last time we spoke was, I think it was during signing day, which I guess was a couple months ago.
Yep.
But I think I asked about those guys who opted out
Uh-huh.
and how they were kind of blending back in with the team. How has that process been? Because I know it was sort of maybe not necessarily an easy situation for. I know the tensions, but I don't know if I'd say tensions were high, but I know not everybody would probably agree with them opting out. How have they kind of molded back in, and are they going to have to earn their jobs back? How does it kind of work with them?
Well, I'm going to take it all kind of in reverse order. Every job is open during spring football. The guys, we started with winter conditioning, and without question, not only the University of Wyoming, but all programs across the country dealing with COVID and dealing with players who opted out. What I can tell you, we chose to put 2020 behind us. There were some good things that we had, but there was it was a bad movie, and we're off to 2021. And so I was really impressed with the attitude of our football team. This is the 2021 Cowboy football team, and we're moving forward. It's going to be a very competitive spring, and we're looking forward to seeing how our players sort themselves out on the depth chart. But as far as any chemistry or anything like that, and I'm pretty sensitive to that stuff. I thought our guys really had a great bounce in their step. There was a lot of enthusiasm, and I did not notice any division or anything like that. So, good question though. Yep, go ahead, Cody.
Craig, a lot of people are, going to wonder about Sean Chambers. How did he look today, and what do you want to see from him this spring?
He's not at 100% yet. He's functional. And I think every once in a while he gets a little bit discouraged that he's not at 100% with his speed. But, he had some really good balls today. Obviously, we're integrating new elements of our offense, and so it's good to have him out there. He had a couple of really good passes today, and, there's going to be really good competition. And sometimes I know he's got a very determined look, and then other times he's got a great smile. He said it's just super for him to be out there. I can tell you it was great to see him. I didn't know who the hell he was, though. He had number 2 on as opposed to 12, so he gave me a little switcheroo there. But if it makes him feel better, hell, I'm all for it. Tracy, you got to unmic yourself.
I think there were 3 guys that I've seen that decided to go to the transfer portal.
Uh-huh.
Is it still just 3? Did you have any new guys that decided?
Yeah, I don't believe so. We had those 3 early, and everybody's dealing with transfers in different fashions. I know some schools have had more guys elect to transfer. We have not had that. We're going to coach the guys that are here. And we just have not had very much attrition from that standpoint.
Is that a positive sign to you that the guys wanted to stay and be part of this program as opposed to moving on?
We're going to take it as a positive. I think I don't want to read into too much. Sometimes when you look at some of these other programs, now I have 12 to 15. It certainly is challenging if you're trying to manage that roster. So we're well pleased. I do think we have a good culture here. And we have guys that are really bought in for our school. And from that standpoint, we always want guys that want to be here.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Davis.
Hey, speaking of the transfer portal, are you guys done with the 2021 recruiting class, or is there a chance that you could still dip into the portal and add somebody later?
I would say that would be doubtful, Davis, but never say never. But that's just not been our MO. But as you know, we have a couple guys on our team. I can tell you that we're not actively sorting through guys right now. Michael?
Again, I know we're trying to move on from 2020, but obviously.
Well, let's move on. Let's go. Move on. Go ahead.
Obviously last year with having to, wear masks and space and sort of be cognizant of all of that stuff, are you guys still having?
Yeah, I got my mask. I got my mask right here.
And have you had the converse? Because I believe you told us last time that you had been vaccinated. Is that a talk that you're having with the team? Is it up to them?
We're encouraging our players to vaccinate. I think every school around the country, and I sit on the NCAA competition committee, every university, we're going to follow university protocol. I know the Mountain West Conference is looking at it collectively. Vaccines have become available for our students now on a sign-up basis. Some of our guys have vaccinated, a good portion have. But right now, that's a decision that they're making. I'm doing everything we can to encourage our guys to vaccinate. All right, Cody.
Craig, last time we talked, you said Victor Jones kind of had to earn his way back on this team. Is he with the team right now practicing, and then how's Ravante Holt?
I'll go first with Ravante. He's in a rehab. When I say rehab, he's out running around and everything else. He's ahead of schedule with his ACL repair. Victor Jones is currently in California. He is enrolled in classes, and he's taking them online at the university, and we'll see how he does academically. Davis?
Greg, other than maybe Sean and Ravante, are there any other players that'll be out or limited this spring because of injuries or still recovering from injuries?
Well, I don't think Sean's going to be limited very much. He wasn't in a special jersey today. I think we're going to be able to, but we really limit our contact on our quarterbacks anyhow normally. But outside of that, I think there's a group of them. There's about 7 guys, and they're out working. You know what? If you ask me next time, I'll get you the whole list of guys who are not going to be competing. And if I told you a couple names now, I'd forget a couple. So, there's a handful. I'd say 6 to 7.
So, Craig, will your quarterbacks be live at all this spring?
They'll get some live work, and we'll sprinkle that in. Cody?
What's the main goal during spring ball, Craig? I know last year you didn't have it. Did it set you guys back at all? And what do you want to accomplish out of this spring?
Well, it certainly set us back. We're a developmental program, and COVID, you heard me get pretty, I guess, animated on the one press conference because I think it probably hit us, I think, maybe harder than anybody else. What spring ball does, it allows us to really develop our football team. We're not out there, worrying about a certain scheme to beat one of our conference opponents. We're out there. So here's where we have 3 goals. The first one is to evaluate our personnel, and we'll do that daily through practice, videotape, and then grades on our scrimmages. The second goal that we have is to establish our fundamentals on our offense and defense and kicking game. And then the third thing, we usually integrate and experiment some new things. Now this year, we've got some new twist on offense, and we'll have probably some new twist on defense. And, we got to make sure our kicking game is solid. So it's those 3 that we're really looking at. But we want to be able to exit spring ball saying, okay, here's our depth chart. Yeah, we're going to do some tinkering when we get into fall camp, but we kind of know who our 1 is, who our 2 is, 3, and 4. Yes, Davis.
Greg, I noticed you've sorry, I thought I was muted. Noticed you had a new quarterback on the roster, Jaden Clemens.
Yes.
Is he a walk-on, and what made you want to bring him in?
He is a walk-on. He was at the University of Utah, and he sought us out. What we need to do, we need to make sure that we have plenty of depth at the quarterback position, and so we're going to have some real competition. Particularly, I think that third spot, whoever settles in at that third spot's going to be something we take a hard look throughout the spring. Cody?
Craig, last year heading into the season, it was, you were open to both quarterbacks playing. Are you looking for just a singular guy to take the lead and be the guy this year?
Well, we're going to take a look at how they perform this spring. And if there's a significant separation, then that'll alter some of the thoughts that we have. If the competition is such that there's a marginal difference between the two, very minimal, then we may play both. But as you saw, we definitely need depth at that quarterback position. Yes, Tracy.
On the quarterback position, it seemed like as we've been watching Levi those last few games, even before he came out, was he pretty banged up the last, say, 2 games that he played?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I appreciate bringing that up. He had it wasn't a complete shoulder separation, but he really took a couple hard hits, and many times it was probably till Wednesday that he was able to really do much throwing at all. He'd wake up on Monday and couldn't hardly lift his arm above 90 degrees, and so it was pretty accurate what you saw there, and he looks 100% right now.
That was kind of show you something about him, that he would go out and try to play through that as opposed to begging out at that time.
No, he's got a great competitive spirit. Some guys always feel like the only time they can play is when they're at 100%. That's pretty damn hard. You don't get that in college football very often. You're going to have to, suck it up sometimes, and he's done that. Okay, guys, I think we've got another player in the room. Any other questions for me? I'll take one more if anybody has one more. Okay, great to see everybody.